Today we're going to talk about Thanksgiving decorations, and especially those for the Thanksgiving table. You know, if you're like most people, about all of your energy towards Thanksgiving goes into the preparation of the food and making sure that it's delicious, making sure that you've got all the courses ready to go and the china ready and the silver. But you know, equally important is what you put on the table for decor. One thing to keep in mind when you're deciding on what kind of decor to do for your Thanksgiving table is to remember how much food you're going to have on the table. So don't do more than your table can accommodate. And usually it's the simpler the better. I've got some really easy, quick ideas for you that won't take away from your food preparation time, but will definitely add to the enjoyment of your meal. The first piece we're going to do is a pumpkin basket, and these are really easy to do and really effective as simple little centerpieces. And you can do several of them to go down the table, or you can do one for the center of the table, or you could do a simple pumpkin with a couple of candles on the table. So what we're going to do is just draw a line like so, right around there, and that's about right. And then you can see the line is from here to here, and if you look at it from the top, you can see what we're going to do to leave the stem in place. And to do that, we're just going to go right over. It's kind of hard to get a straight line with all of the ridges that naturally occur in a beautiful pumpkin like this. So we're just going to kind of go around like so. And I hope you'll be able to see my marker is kind of getting a little low on the ink, but you can see that it's almost like a big smile shape that we've drawn on the side of the pumpkin, and we want to do those just the same on both sides. So we want to make sure that we get it about at the same height, starting about here. We want to be sure that we leave that stem in place. So you can see that even though the line is not anywhere near perfect, which is almost impossible to do on on a pumpkin like this, it's very legible, and it will give you a good map of where to cut so that you won't make a big mistake. And it's easy to do when you get a nice sharp knife, but it's somewhat like carving a pumpkin. You just cut around like this, like that, and see when you take that out, then you have a nice basket shape. You just need to clean out the inside of the pumpkin, you know, much as you do a jack-o'-lantern. Just scrape out the seeds. You can see that what I've done is cleaned out the insides of the pumpkin by rinsing it well, and then using a spoon to just scrape the inside gently. See, now we've got this cute little basket, little pumpkin basket, and we're going to line it with a little piece of plastic here. And this is really an easy way to do it. And you can just take like a plastic bag, freezer bag, or you know, any kind of a food storage bag will work fine. Just pull it through like so. It's going to give you some water retention availability, but it's not going to be guaranteed to be leak-proof. So it might be a good idea to go ahead and line it and just do it simply with a plastic bag like this. You could also use one of these lightweight liners, but you know, this isn't something that most of us have at home, so I tried to think of an idea that would make it easier for you to do this at home. So just go ahead and then line it with a plastic bag. You know, the arrangement we're going to do in here is not going to be a real elaborate number. It's going to be something that you can duplicate at home. So we're going to take a small piece of Oasis foam, but then you just have to kind of squeeze that little piece of foam. You can see we've trimmed this plastic, the excess bag off of the plastic, so that it still has enough plastic to cover the edge, the rim of the pumpkin basket, so that the water isn't likely to get between the plastic and the pumpkin. But we're going to use for this, we're going to use the beautiful seeded eucalyptus, which is a native of Northern California. And then some of this is a boxwood from Oregon. That's a variegated one, so we're going to leave it in its natural color. And then also a little bit of the spiral eucalyptus, which is a really pretty. Now this is like a dried or permanent eucalyptus, so you can use that, or you could use a fresh spiral eucalyptus. But I think the dried will be prettier in here because it has this brown color. In its natural state, it is just silver gray like the seeded. But you can see that the seeded has a really nice bushy texture to it, so it's going to really fill this up quickly. And the boxwood does as well. So what we want to do is just mix a little bit of both of these foliages. And for flowers, you know, there are several ways that we can go with this. You know, you may be fortunate enough to still have some of your garden mums blooming, and those are beautiful in centerpieces. And so I've grabbed some of those with that pretty rust color. The nice thing about working with chrysanthemums, especially if you're an amateur, is that they're impossible to kill. So you can just, you know, add a few. If you get them wrong, it's not the end of the world. Like I said, these mums are going to live out of water for probably 48 hours anyway, so you don't need to worry about it if you don't get it just right. It's going to be beautiful for your Thanksgiving dinner table. So we're just going to put just a few on each side. Don't have to do that. Is just one stem of miniature spray chrysanthemum. So, you know, and like I said, it may be something that you're fortunate enough to pull out of your own garden, which would be nice. Now, after you get this far along, then we're going to add just a little bit of other things for texture. This is a pretty, it's a solidago, which we know in Kansas is goldenrod. Then this is one of our beautiful indigenous plants that we are so fortunate to have in the Midwest, and it's good old bittersweet. And there we have that, and we're going to do just one more little addition, and that'll be the eucalyptus that we talked about, the spiral. And not too much of it, but it just will give us a nice little additional bit of character for the arrangement. We've got a nice combination of textures and flowers and colors that really bring home this fall beauty. Now if this centerpiece is too small for your dining table, but you don't really want to take up a lot of extra room by making a big, fresh arrangement, you know, you can really stretch the look of the arrangement by just adding some accessories down the table, and I'll show you what I mean. You know, first of all, one of my favorite tricks with anything that will fit on it are these beautiful teakwood Chinese stands. You know, they will add such an elegant look to the most mundane thing in your home. And you'll see what I mean just by sticking a pumpkin on a Chinese base like that. It really changes the whole look of it, and it makes just an ordinary pumpkin into a designer accessory. So that's step number one we're going to do with this. And then to extend the look of it, we're going to kind of replicate some of the things going on in this centerpiece, which would be the miniature pumpkins like this. And these are artificial, but you could use the real ones as well, the real little ones that you can pick up in bags. And so what we're going to do is do just a few of them here and there down the table. We're going to pretend like this is our dining room table. And then just add a couple of little votives like so. And we'll do two votives over here because we just have the one pumpkin. So we're going to give it that kind of a look. And that can be really pretty. Now, like I said, if this is during daylight hours and you don't want to use the candles. If you have little votive cups like this, you can also just put a little bit of water in them and just a few sprigs of foliage and just a little single flower or two in each one, and it will, that flowers that you've used in the centerpiece, and it will carry that look down onto the table. But you can see just by using a few extra accessories, you can really make your centerpiece into as grand or as simple as you want. Keep in mind that you're going to have a lot of food going on the table, so you want to leave plenty of room for that, because that's what everybody comes for. Although the flowers definitely add another dimension to your Thanksgiving entertaining. So I'm glad you spent this little bit of time with me, and we'll do some other things as well.